Hey guys, we are here in Nebraska at a laundromat. Why? Well, because we've been on a bus for 2 weeks and we need to do some laundry. What better place to talk about audio? We thought we'd find a nice noisy environment, talk about all the different mics we use. There's such a huge difference depending on what kind of mic you use in every situation. Right now I have 2 lav mics on, we have a shotgun on camera A, and we have an onboard mic on camera B. And even though they're only 5 feet away from me, there's such a huge difference in the audio quality. And even though they're only 5 feet away from me, there's such a huge difference in the audio quality. And even though they're only 5 feet away from me, there's such a huge difference in the audio quality. When we show up at the preps, one of the biggest things you want to keep in mind is there's generally a lot of noise and you usually want to localize the sound that you're trying to capture. If you use the onboard mic, it usually doesn't help do that very well, so what we bring is a shotgun mic. The first one is the Sennheiser MKE400. It's great because it's so small that it really fits with the form factor of the camera and isn't very intimidating. However, if you want something that localizes the sound even better, the Rode video mic is perfect. Now, this one is a little bit larger, so it can be a little bit more intimidating. So we switch between this and the Sennheiser depending on the type of people we're working with and how close we need to be. If you really want to use a lot of natural sounds in your films, you'll notice a huge difference between the onboard mic and a shotgun mic. With the firmware update on the markII, what you're going to find is you now have the option for auto or manual levels. Now, what you probably already know is that manual levels are desired whenever possible because it's going to let you dial in the perfect setting in any situation. The downside, of course, is if we're shooting an event, we've got a lot of different things happening, are we really going to have time to go into the menu and switch our levels for each thing we're shooting? So for us, what that means, we'll often run a shotgun mic and then we'll use auto levels. Now, when we're shooting outside and you have quite a bit of wind, you'll notice that your shotgun will actually pick up some of that wind noise. So what do? We get a windscreen. This is a Koala windscreen that we picked up in Australia, and it does an amazing job at picking up clean audio even in very high wind situations. Shotgun mic is great if you're pretty close to the person that you're trying to get audio from. But when you show up to the ceremony or reception, you often can't get 2 feet away from a bride and groom or from somebody giving a speech. So what we need then is wireless lavs. What we have here is the Sennheiser EW-G3. We have a transmitter and a receiver. The idea is that the transmitter goes on the person that you're trying to capture audio from, and the receiver can go either into your camera or into a field recorder. Now, if you'd like to plug it straight into your camera, there is a supplied cable, and that does work very well in conjunction with the manual levels we just mentioned. The downside, though, is that you're now tied to the 12-minute recording limit in the EOS series of cameras. The way to overcome that is to then plug the receiver into a field recorder. The one we use is the Zoom. So, here we have the Zoom H4n, and all we have to do is plug in the receiver with the supplied XLR cable into the bottom of the Zoom. The Zoom has several advantages to it, and one of the biggest ones is that even with a small SD card, it's going to be able to record for several hours continuously. It also has a variety of inputs, so that means we have a 1/4 inch, an XLR, a mic input on the back. All of these are great if we want to plug into the soundboard at either a church or reception. It's got a headphone jack if we want to monitor our audio. It's got an LCD screen here where we can easily read our levels, and then on the side it has a record levels which are very easy to get to, so we can always adjust them up or down to get the perfect audio setting. What we normally do is we show up to the ceremony and the reception with 2 Zooms. We'll run 2 wirelesses into the Zoom A, and that's going to wire up the groom as well as the officiant. And then we'll use the second Zoom to plug into the soundboard at the ceremony or the DJ's board at the reception, which means we always have 2 backups running that can run continuously for an entire ceremony or an entire reception, and we don't have to worry if one fails. The downside to the Zoom is that you now have 1 more piece of gear you have to get and 1 more piece of gear you have to carry, and you also are going to have your audio recorded on a separate track than your video, so that means you're going to have to manually sync them up in post, and that's going to take a little bit more time. However, if you really want high quality audio, I'd highly recommend spending that extra little bit of time to sync everything up.
Your travels together have taken you to some of the most beautiful and wonderful spots on this earth, but none are more fitting for this ceremony than right here and right now.
One thing to think about if you're going to purchase a lav set is what type of lav mic you'd like. We always carry 2 different lav mics with us. So here we have a Sennheiser directional lav mic as well as a Sennheiser omnidirectional lav mic. Each is great in different situations. If you find yourself trying to record audio from a single person, the directional mic is going to be perfect for that. However, if you find yourself trying to record audio from 2 people side by side, such as 2 parents giving a speech or a bride and groom in their vows, the omnidirectional mic is going to be a much better fit. Hey Paul, I've got 2 mics on here, a directional and an omnidirectional, and I'd really like to test out your audio.
Dude, back off, I'm trying to do my laundry.
Oh.
Dude, back off, I'm trying to do my laundry.
What's that?
I said, dude, back off, I'm trying to do my laundry.
Need some breath mints. That's serious.
And I'm done.